Good morning. I could take a nap. I don't know what the deal is with slow connection on Facebook, but it keeps flashing. So it's whatever. Oh, hopefully everybody's having a good day. I'll wait for some people to come in and then I'll get the meeting started. Oh, I need a nap. Well, anyways, I'm Sandra and I'm an alcoholic. And I do these meetings to help others to achieve sobriety and stay sober. It was a gift given to me for free, and I'm giving it to all of you for free. So, anyway, my glasses are all yucky. My eyeballs twitching. It's been really weird lately. My eye twitches. It's like, stop. But that's a little better. They're scratched up, so I get new ones in February. Anyways, God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. So please, no judging each other in the chat. I always say this because I do have people that are not alcoholics that come and watch and participate in the chat, and it's not nice if you go and harass them. But please, no judging, no harassing, just be kind in the chat. That's all I ask. You don't have to be a recovering alcoholic to be part of this meeting. You can join in the chat if you'd like. If not, I completely understand. Not everybody is as far in their journey of telling others that they're recovering. So I understand that. And I always put in the description what book we're reading and the page we're on, the chapter, the story. It's all there. So if you're lost, you might, if you don't have the 4th edition, you're probably going to be on a different page. That's why I always put the name of the story in the chapter that we're reading. So, anyways. 1. We admitted we were powerless over alcohol, that our lives had become unmanageable. 2. Came to believe that a power greater than ourselves could restore us to sanity. 3. Made a decision to turn our will and our lives over the care of God as we understood Him. 4. Made a searching and fearless moral inventory of ourselves. 5. Admitted to God, to ourselves, and to another human being the exact nature of our wrongs. 6. We're entirely ready to have God remove all these defective characters. 7. Humbly asked Him to remove our shortcomings. 8. Made a list of all persons we had harmed and become willing to make amends to them all. 9. Made direct amends to such people wherever possible, except when to do so would injure them or others. 10. Continue to take personal inventory and when wrong, promptly admit it. 11. Sought through prayer and meditation to improve our conscious contact with God as we understood Him, praying only for knowledge of His will for us and the power to carry that out. 12. Having had a spiritual awakening as a result of these steps, we try to carry this message to alcoholics and to practice these principles in all our affairs. So, we're in the big book. This is the big book. I call it the big book. Everybody else I know of that has been part of AA calls it the big book. So, just what we call it. On chapter 8, 2 wives, and page 104. With few exceptions, our book thus far has spoken of men. But what we have said applies quite as much to women. Our activities in behalf of women who drink are on the increase. There is every evidence that women regain their health as readily as men if they try or suggestions. But for every man who drinks, others are involved. The wife who trembles in fear of the next debauch, the mother and father who see their son wasting away. Among us are wives, relatives, and friends whose problem has been solved, as well as some who have not yet found a happy solution. We want the wives of Alcoholics Anonymous to address the wives of men who drink too much. What they say will apply to nearly everyone bound by ties of blood or affection to an alcoholic. As wives of Alcoholics Anonymous, we would like you to feel that we understand, as perhaps few can. We want to analyze mistakes we have made. We want to leave you with the feeling that no solution is too difficult and no unhappiness too great to be overcome. We have traveled a rocky road. There is no mistake about that. We have had long resists with hurt, pride, frustration, self-pity, misunderstanding, and fear. These are not pleasant companions. We have been driven to maudlin symphony, to bitter resentment. Some of us veered from extreme to extreme, ever hoping that one day our loved ones would be themselves once more. Our loyalty and the desire that our husbands hold up their heads and be like other men have begotten all sorts of predicaments. We have been unselfish and self-sacrificing. We have told immutable lies to protect our pride and our husbands' reputations. We have prayed, we have begged, we have been patient, we have struck out viciously, we have run away, we have been hysterical, we have been terror-stricken, we have sought sympathy, we have had retaliatory love affairs with other men. Our homes have been battlegrounds many an evening. In the morning, we have kissed and made up. Our friends have counseled, chuckling the men, and we have done so with finality, only to be back in a little while, hoping, always hoping. Our men have sworn great solemn oaths that they were through drinking forever. We have believed them when no one else could or would. Then in days, weeks, or months of fresh outbursts. We seldom had friends at our homes, never knowing how or when the men of the house would appear. We could make few social engagements. We came to live almost alone. When we were invited out, our husbands sneaked so many drinks that they spoiled the occasion. If, on the other hand, they took nothing, their self-pity made them killjoys. There was never financial security. Positions were always in jeopardy or gone. An armored car could not have brought the pay envelopes home. The checking account melted like snow in June. Sometimes there were other women who heartbreaking was this discovery, or how heartbreaking, how cruel to be told they understood our men as we did not. The bill collectors, the sheriffs, the angry taxi drivers, the policemen, the bums, the pals, and even the ladies they sometimes brought home, our husbands, thought we were so inhospitable, joy killer nag. What blanket? That's what they said. Next day they would be themselves again and we would forgive and try to forget. We have tried to hold the love of our children for their fathers. We have told some tots that father was sick, which was much nearer the truth than we realized. They struck the children, kicked out doors, panels, smashed treasured crockery, and ripped the keys out of pianos. In the midst of such pandemonium, they may have rushed out threatening to live with the other women forever. In desperation, we have even got tight ourselves, the drunk to end all drunks. The unexpected result was that our husbands seemed to like it. Perhaps at this point we got a divorce and took the children home to father and mother. Then we were severely criticized by our husband's parents for dissertation. Usually we did not leave. We stayed on and on. We finally sought employment ourselves as distribution faced us and our families. We began to ask medical advice as the sprees got closer together. The alarming physical and mental symptoms, the deepening pall of remorse, depression, and inferiority that settled down on our loved ones. These things terrified and distracted us. As animals on a treadmill, we have patiently and wearily climbed, falling back in exhaustion after each futile effort to reach solid ground. Most of us have entered the final stage with its commitment to health resorts, sanitariums, hospitals, and jails. Sometimes there were screaming deliriums and insanity. Hassan was often near. Under these conditions, we naturally made mistakes. I gotta plug in them or it's gonna die. Please don't die on me. Okay, it's plugged in. I was wondering why the screen went dim. Under these conditions, we naturally made mistakes. Some of them rose out of ignorance of alcoholism. Sometimes we sensed dimly that we were dealing with sick men. Had we fully understood the nature of the alcoholic illness, we might have behaved differently. How could men who love their wives and children be so unthinking, so callous, so cruel? There could be no love in such persons, we thought, and just as we were being convinced of their heartlessness, they would surprise us with fresh resolves and new attentions. For a while they would be their old sweet selves, only to dash the new structure of affection to pieces once more. Asked why they commenced to drink again, they would reply with some silly excuse or none. It was so baffling, so heartbreaking. Could we have been so mistaken in the men we married? When drinking, they were strangers. Sometimes they were so inaccessible that it seemed as though a great wall had been built around them. These ones in the big book are long, and it's just me reading, so I'm only going to probably read about half of this one. And even if they did not love their families, how could they be so blind as about themselves? What had become of their judgment, their common sense, their willpower? Why could they not see that drink meant ruin to them? Why was it when these dangers were pointed out that they agreed and then got drunk again immediately? These are some of the questions which race through the mind of every woman who has an alcoholic husband. We hope this book has answered some of them. Perhaps your husband has been living in that stage or in that strange world of alcoholism where everything is distorted and exaggerated. You can see that he really does love you with his better self. Of course, there is such a thing as incompatibility, but in nearly every instance, the alcoholic only seems to be unloving and inconsiderate. It is usually because he is warped and sickened that he says and does these appalling things. Today, most of our men are better husbands and fathers than ever before. Try not to condemn your alcoholic husband no matter what he says or does. He is just another very sick, unreasonable person. Treat him when you can as though he had pneumonia. When he angers you, remember that he is very ill. Now, this goes for the wives who are drinking and doing these crazy things. And believe me, being a recovering alcoholic, I can relate to that's how I acted. So there is an important exception to the foregoing. We realize some men are thoroughly bad intentioned, that no amount of patience will make any difference. An alcoholic of this temperament may be quick to use this chapter as a climb over your head. Don't let him get away with it. If you are positive he is one of this type, you may feel you had better leave. Is it right to let him ruin your life and the lives of your children, especially when he has before him a way to stop his drinking and abuse if he really wants to pay the price? The problem with which you struggle usually falls within one of four categories. 1. Your husband may be only a heavy drinker. His drinking may be constant, or it may be heavy only on certain occasions. Perhaps he spends too much money for liquor. It may be slowing him up mentally and physically, but he does not see it. Sometimes he is a source of embarrassment to you and his friends. He is positive he can handle his liquor, that it does him no harm, that drinking is necessary in his business. He would probably be insulted if he were called an alcoholic. This world is full of people like him. Some will moderate or stop altogether, and some will not. Of those who keep on, a good number will become true alcoholics after a while. 2. Your husband is showing lack of control, for he is unable to stay on the water wagon even when he wants to. He often gets entirely out of hand when drinking. He admits this is true, but it is positive that he will do better. He has begun to try, with or without your cooperation, various means of moderating or staying dry. Where was I? Maybe he is beginning to lose his friends. His business may suffer somewhat. He is worried at times and is becoming aware that he cannot drink like other people. He sometimes drinks in the morning and through the day also, to hold his nervousness in check. He is remorseful after serious drinking bouts and tells you he wants to stop, but when he gets over the spree, he begins to think once more how he can drink moderately next time. We think this person is a danger. These are the earmarks of a real alcoholic. Perhaps he can still tend to business fairly, say among others, fairly well. I skipped some of it. He has by no means ruined everything, as we say among ourselves. He want to stop. 3. This husband has gone much further than husband number 2, though once like number 2, he became worse. His friends have slipped away. His home is a near wreck, and he cannot hold a position. Maybe the doctor has been called in, and the weary round of sanitariums and hospitals has begun. He admits he cannot drink like other people. He does not see why. He clings to the notion that he will yet find a way to do so. He may have come to the point where he desperately wants to stop and cannot. His case presents additional questions which we shall try to answer for you. You can be quite hopeful of a solution like this. My back is hurting really bad today. I twisted wrong. Hello, sissy. For you may have a husband of whom you completely despair. He has been placed in one institution after another. He is violent or appears definitely insane when drunk. Sometimes he drinks on the way home from the hospital. Perhaps he has had delirium tremens. Doctors may shake their heads and advise you to have him committed. Maybe you have already been obliged to put him away. This picture may not be as dark as it looks. Many of our husbands were just as far gone, yet they got well. Let's now go back to husband number 1. Oddly enough, he is often difficult to deal with. He enjoys drinking. I need to find my highlighter. There it is. Okay. Maybe you have already been obliged to put him away. This picture may not be as dark as it looks. Many of our husbands were just as far gone, yet they got well. Let us now go. I already read that part. His friends feel closer over a highball. Perhaps you enjoy drinking with him yourself when he doesn't go too far. You have passed happy evenings together, chatting and drinking before your fire. Perhaps you both like parties which would be dull without liquor. We have enjoyed such evenings ourselves. We had a good time. We know all about liquor as social lubricant. Some, but not all of us, think it has its advantage when reasonably used. The first principle of success is that you should never be angry. Even though your husband becomes unbearable and you have to leave him temporarily, you should, if you can, go without rancor. Patience and good temper are most necessary. Our next thought is that you should never tell him what he must do about his drinking. If he gets the idea that you are a nag or a killjoy, your chance of accomplishing anything useful may be zero. He will use that as an excuse to drink more. He will tell you he is misunderstood, that this may lead to lonely evenings for you. He may seek someone else to console him, not always another man. Be determined that your husband's drinking is not going to spoil your relations with your children or your friends. They need your companionship and your help. It is possible to have a full and useful life though your husband continues to drink. We know women who are unafraid, even happy under these conditions. Do not set your heart on reforming your husband. You may be unable to do so, no matter how hard you try. We know these suggestions are sometimes difficult to follow, but you will save money or save many a heartbreak if you can succeed in observing them. Your husband may come to appreciate your reasonableness and patience. This may lay the groundwork for a friendly talk about his alcoholic problem. Try to have him bring up the subject himself. Be sure you are not critical during such a discussion, attempting instead to put yourself in his place. Let him see that you want to be helpful rather than critical. When a discussion does arise, you might suggest he read this book, or at least the chapter on alcoholism. Tell him you have been worried, though perhaps needlessly. You think he ought to know the subject better, as everyone should have a clear understanding of the risk he takes if he drinks too much. Show him you have confidence in his power to stop or moderate. Say you do not want to be a wet blanket, that you only want him to take care of his health. Thus, you may succeed in interesting him in alcoholism. So I'm going to stop there. This applies as well to wives. Hi, Char. This also applies to the wives that are alcoholics. It just reverses, you know. Because like when I was drinking, I started off as just a casual drinker, and then I'd have friends over or family members over, and we'd get drunk, way drunk. And then I got to where I was drinking all the time. I wake up and drink. I go to bed, pass out, wake up and drink. That was my daily routine. I drank every single day, all day long, if I could, if I had the money. I'm glad you made it too, Char. So for me, I have to say that remembering how I was when I was in the drinking, I was not nice to anybody. My husband did leave, as well as my children. I got hurt because of, my own stupidity and drunkenness. And I would flip out over stupid crap. And my thing is that when my kids got into middle school and high school, I didn't have anything to do. I was at home all the time by myself. But that was the life I chose at that time. And I did the famous calling people and not remember who I called, what I said. Nothing. I don't remember those things. But I remember big details, that affected me. And I'm so glad that when I did my jump off the wagon, when I did that, it was before I found AA. And since I have found AA and I know what it was like when I jumped off the sober wagon, I was just that same person that I had come from being, and I didn't like it. But I did that for another year and a half, maybe 2 years. But when a friend suggested AA to me, I was like, okay, I'll meet you there, And I didn't think that it was going to be something that I could be part of. I had no expectations when I walked in there of anything, and boy, was I wrong. That meeting was the start of my actual staying sober with the help of someone else and other people who relate to me in that way. Because it is hard to go and talk to a friend or a family member who doesn't understand what it's like to be that alcoholic in that state of mind. And it's not fun being drunk all the time. And if I could take back all of that time that I was drunk, I probably wouldn't, because it's taught me a lesson, and it's taught me that I can relate with other people, that I'm not alone in this journey, just like you're not alone. There's other people just like us who need the help, and maybe they're not ready to accept the help. And I agree, some of them don't come for help. It's too late when they decide that maybe they want that help, and it's not. My husband's cousin was an alcoholic. He just passed away in a house fire last week. And we think, I don't know, but we think he was probably passed out and they couldn't get him out, and so he passed away. Like I said, some of us don't get out. And it's hard when you have family members or friends that have that tragic ending of never knowing what it's like to be sober again and living life the way I do and the way other people who are achieving sobriety and staying sober. It's a hard walk. It's very hard. But it gets easier as you go on and working your steps and knowing the things that you can do to get that support that you need. And I found the support in those rooms, and I got two wonderful sponsors. I have a lot of friends who get what I go through. My family understands it because this is my passion, is trying to help other people get sober and stay sober and know that there is a life without it. It's not easy to get there, but it is so very worth it. I have bad days, guys. Really, I do. And I have to make it through it, and I do it sober. Because just with the bad, the good overrides every bad situation. I mean, things that would have ticked me off when I was drunk, now I laugh at it. Like, I can't believe I did that. I can't believe I acted like that. But when I stop and think about it, I know I did act like that. And when you gotta admit that you were not dingy and not angry or whatever it was, yeah. Everyday sobriety is a lot worse, a lot better than a day drunk. Yeah. Oh wow, Char. It's not fun. I got the message from his cousin because she is one of my best friends, and I'm her daughter's godmom. But she messaged me and she's like, "This happened," and I was like, "Nuh-uh," and I thought she was joking. And I started looking at the news and was talking about a house fire. And my son had drove by and saw the smoke, and I told him what happened, and I had to call my husband to tell him. And that was one of his cousins that he hung out with and got into all kinds of mischief, and when they were growing up. But it's sad, really sad. Yeah. Not everybody does understand what it's like to be on the addiction and alcoholism, because they all connect the same ways in a lot of people have both of those issues. Not everybody, of course. A lot of people do. They're looking for that escape from their reality of the situation and self-medicating and all that. And that's what I was doing. And I was just trying to keep myself busy being by myself. And now I live life on life's terms. Things go how they're supposed to go, and everything happens for a reason. And I cannot control what everybody else is doing. I can only control my part in what's going on. And that's it. And I actually like it that way. I don't have to worry about what everybody else is, Anyways. But I'm going to go ahead and sign off on the Facebook side. I'm going to get the daily reflection and read it over here on YouTube. I love you guys. Be safe out there. And remember, you're not alone. If you are struggling with any mental issues or drug or alcoholic issues, please know that there's help. All you have to do is just accept it and do the work to make your life better. So, God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Keep coming back. It works if you work it. Anyways, so yes. Let me close this up. Daily reflection. Let's go and let God. Praying only for knowledge of His will for us and the power to carry that out. Step 12 Steps and 12 Traditions, page 96. You have a good weekend too, Char. When I let go and let God, I think more clearly and wisely, without having to think about it. I quickly let go of things that cause me immediate pain and discomfort because I find it hard to let go of the kind of worrisome thoughts and attitudes that cause me immense anguish. All I need do all I need do during those times is allow God as I understand Him to release them from me, and then and there I let go of the thoughts, memories, and attitudes that are troubling me. When I receive help from God as I understand Him, I can live my life one day at a time and handle whatever challenges come my way. Only then can I live a life of victory over alcohol in comfortable sobriety. And with that, I love you guys and thank you for being here. And I will be live again on Tuesday at 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Today was a day I normally don't do meetings, but I forgot last night was AA, so my bad. That's on me. But I hope you guys have a wonderful weekend. And like I said, always remember you're not alone. If you are struggling with any issues like that, please reach out for help. There's help everywhere. So with that, I live